Today, I'm in the forest on my hardtail, exploring some of the trails I haven't ridden in a long time, and some that I've never ridden before. So let's go and have some fun.
Woo!
My quest to ride some of the natural trails took me all over the forest today, and I wasn't disappointed with what I found. So let's start at the top of the hill on a trail that I've ridden past many times, but never dropped in on. Until now.
Okay, in we go. So I've not ridden this one before, and I have no idea where it comes out. I think it might be quite a short one, but from the looks of things, it might be quite spicy. Plenty of roots.
As well as the roots, there's plenty of pedalling in this first part of the trail. The second part gets a bit faster as it gets a bit steeper. This trail is pretty well established on the ground, but it does get a bit close in at times. There are a few ruts, brambles and roots to contend with, but that's part of the fun of riding natural trails.
It's the summertime when trails like this really come into their own. I know it's just coming into spring now, but when these things dry up, they're going to be so smooth and fast to run.
Riding my hardtail on this type of terrain is always a lot of fun. On a hardtail, you have to pick your line carefully and really work with the trail to keep your speed over things like roots. I was also really surprised to find that this short trail is actually a lot longer than I thought. You can really tell how much effort the trail is by how much I'm panting at this point. Either that or I'm just really unfit. Or probably a bit of both.
This trail is so much longer than I thought it would be. Whew. It's starting to flow really nicely down here. Picking up some speed. Around a few roots. I have no idea where this is going to come out.
The trail really picks up here. It's much faster and it has a few fun elements to contend with. The ground on this trail is pretty solid, and the whole trail flows really nicely back and forth, but there are a few technical elements just to keep things interesting. A great trail overall.
Was a bit tight. Oh, this is great. How have I not ridden this before? I've ridden past the entrance so many times and never thought to ride it.
With all the pedalling, the first part of this trail can be quite tough, but this downhill section is well worth it. And we're done. That's the first trail ticked off the list, and I'm glad it's one that I'd never ridden before, and now I've finally done it.
Awesome. So I wasn't expecting that at all. I thought it would be a really, really short, pumpy little section. Actually, it was quite a sort of sustained effort, but it's brought me out onto the red trail here. So hopefully I'll be able to find that again.
But there was no time to relax, because I'd just spotted something.
Ooh. The great thing with riding in a forest, and I know I'm really, really lucky, especially this year where everyone's been in lockdowns and local riding only, but there are so many just hidden trails kicking around that you can just find. So let's give this one a go. I've ridden this before, it must have been last year. I've never seen it in the dry and I don't know what condition it's in, but let's give it a try, shall we? Dropping.
You may recognise this trail from a video I made last year about the Southwest Enduro. I managed to ride it a couple of times last winter, but the top part tends to get really boggy, so I usually just avoid it. You can ride this trail from the top of the hill if you want a longer ride, but this lower part is definitely the more punchy section. As you can tell, it's pretty rocky down here, and my poor hardtail is getting shaken about quite a bit, but it is a cracking ride.
Woo.
With this section done, I didn't have far to go to experience a very different type of trail. Again, this trail can be ridden from the top of the hill where it starts off on flatter terrain, but this part right here is where things get bumpy, starting with a few roots.
Okay, stay to the right down here, let's see what we've got.
This is where things start to get fun.
Oh, a bit loose.
Unlike the last trail, this one is out in the open and very fast. It gets tricky because of all the ruts that have been formed. They hold you on one course and make it hard to avoid other obstacles. But by far, the hardest part of this trail are all the smaller bumps that just want to shake you off your bike when you're going fast.
Whoa. That was an absolute bone shaker. Oh, you need a bit more suspension in the front end than I had there.
Seeing as how dry the last few trails were, I decided to take a ride on Skill Down. But I was wrong about it being dry.
Oh, bit of a water feature. Oh, that's horrendous. Well, I picked the wrong section to come down. This is super muddy. And there's just a stream of water running down it. Not a great idea.
When I say stream, I literally mean running water and loose pebbles.
Oh, this is really, really loose here. Oh, few tight corners. Awesome. Oh, big rocks. It's basically a river. Oh, that was close.
Luckily for me, the second part of the trail was a bit more forgiving than the first.
So it's quickly becoming clear that I've perhaps not brought the right bike with me today. I think my Cube stereo is probably much better suited to the type of terrain that I found myself on. The Voodoo Bizango and its sort of cross-country tyres isn't really cut out for some of this, but saying that, it's handling it all quite well.
It's certainly a hardy machine and it does me proud.
Oh, that's lovely. Tight corners. Oh, so flowy. That's beautiful. Gets a bit more aggressive down here. Ooh. Nice. These are really tight and loose corners, similar to the top half. Amazing. Woo.
With the long climb ahead, I had one more trail in mind for the day.
So I've ridden parts of this one before, but I don't think I've taken it all the way to the bottom of the hill. So let's check it out.
With all the awesome switchbacks of Skill Down, I was having a bit of fun with my route through the trees on this one.
Taking a bit of a weird line so far. Let's go this side of the tree, a little jump.
And that's one of the awesome parts of this type of riding, choosing your own line. There are some cool natural features kicking about too, like this little stump jump kicker.
It's carried on down this horrible muddy looking thing.
In this part of the woods, it gets hella boggy. I also didn't know where I was going, which led to some more technical line choices than necessary. On more than one occasion. Which then led to some further character building riding.
Oh, that was a bit slippery.
I finally made it to the bottom. This was an awesome hardtail outing on some pretty cool trails. Now, spring is definitely here, which means plenty more riding to come. That's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'm out.